A homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, worthy one and fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. We are going to discuss about consciousness. Michael,
yes. Okay.
yeah, consciousness is the one sense of our life, right? We have six senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It's a six sense basis, six consciousness. What do you think, Michael? Consciousness.
Well, excuse me, it's quite separate from the brain. So I'm a little interested. I'm interested in the relationship between the. Well, I'm answering my own question as I ask it. Just as the tongue is the vehicle for taste, so the brain is the vehicle for consciousness. Is that right?
No.
No. Okay.
According to Buddhism, no.
Okay.
I mean, it is according to the Buddhist teaching. The brain is not the functions of place for the mind. To the eye, it's called Chakupasada. Chakupasada means the what's that called? Eye faculty. The pasada means the very tiny, like a dot in the middle of the eye. Iris. Yes. The whole thing is not the eye. Whole thing is the eye, but that's the background. The picture taken by the very tiny thing in the middle of the eye, it's called Chakupasada. And then the ear, the whole thing is the ear, but what's the sound take is the very tiny thing in the kind of drum in the eye. It's in the drum even has the kind of the ring type of kind of sensors in the eye that take the sound. I think the brain is going to combine this whole senses. Brain get part to combine it, and then the then in the nose, and the I think somewhere in the nose have a kind of tiny sensors to take the smell. We have a whole thing, but in the somewhere here is something very tiny thing, like a kind of in Abhidhamma it's have given a name, how it is look like. In the tongue have the kind of pedals of the lotus pedals, something like that. The things on the tongue take the taste. And then the body, it's happen all over the body, except the hair, nails, hair and nails, and the dyed skin of that things not take the senses, but the whole the body take the have this body senses, and then the mind is the heart is the base. Heart is the base. When you get something scared or something, our heart getting tensions, right? Anxious is beat hard, and we can feel it here. That's why I think we say people, oh, he's have a good heart. It means he's a good mind, right? According to Abhidhamma explanation, the heart is the base of consciousness. It's relying on the heart. In the heart, is associate the blood in the heart. It's associate the blood. One part of the heart. That's also in the Dhammapada says, Durangamang ekatarang asarirang guhasyang. Guhasyang means the heart is somewhere in the heart, in the blood. The consciousness associate the heart. Your question, Michael, what's the brain or why it's
the relationship between the brain and the mind, or between the brain and thoughts?
Brain, in Buddhist teaching, brain doesn't take part with mind or any sense organs like eyes, ears, nose, tongue. But brain has mentioned in Buddhism when you meditate on the repulsiveness. Brain is one of part to meditate on its repulsiveness of the body. But as a sense basis, the brain is not as important. I think the forms we take through the eyes, sounds we take through the ears, and odors and taste, tactiles, is I think the brain take the part of the organize those things and giving a idea or something. It's kind of engine, I think. I'm not sure what that is exactly. It's like an engine, but it doesn't have any kind of power like the eye, like the ear. As a doors, it's called doors in Buddhism. Chakudwara, this is the door. It's open to take the form. Sotadwara, door of ears. Ears are open to take the sound. Ghanadwara, Jivadwara, Kayadwara, Manodwara. These are the door. Brain doesn't have mention.
Well, what's that old brain doing?
I think the things, objects we take through these senses, I think clarifying or maybe just doing a kind of center organizing or something. I don't know exactly. But the brain is not the mind. Brain is not the mind. I think when we have some injuries of the brain, then some physical going to deactivate, right? When you get some injured, brain take a very important part of this all experiences of senses. the same thing, I think, whatever we take through the eyes, ears, nose, and take through the mind, the problem is why this is the problem is when we die, the brain die. The whole body is dying, but the things we clinging to the body, we have grasping the body called rupa upadana. Rupa upadana. According to the 5 aggregates, rupa, whole body is the one part of as a sentient beings. You have 5 of aggregates, right? 5 khandas. What are the 5 khandas? Rupa khanda, aggregates of form. Vedana khanda, aggregates of feeling. Sanya khanda, aggregate of perception. Sankhara khanda, aggregate of volitional formation. Vijnana khanda, aggregate of consciousness. These are the 5 aggregates. Then we die, these all 5 dying, but we cling into them, called we upadana, we grasp into them, and this is exist. That upadana is the exist. When we die, this body all die, but we aggregate to, we cling into body, this form is I, this form is mine, and still I'm having that idea. That physical body, and that aggregates up called rupa upadana. This upadana, this clinging to body and moving like with the subtle form, That's why when some people birth and it's discovered with some injuries, some people die, and when they're born again, and they have a mark of that injuries. You have heard that? Yeah. Why they have that marks of their body? Because that they clinging to that body and they grasping it as I, mine, myself, and their subtle form is moving to another birth. That's why they have if someone die as a human and born as a human, and they could have that kind of then the the brain, I think, then depends according to what is next birth supposed to be. As animal brain could be different, right? And then there are all other aggregates also become different. But they have the feeling. We grasp into, cling into feeling, Vedana upadana, and we holding this my old feeling as I, myself. Whatever terrible feelings or whatever feeling I had this life, and we bring them to the next life. Some of them, we still cling into them. And we have those old feelings. And then the sanya, perception, recognition, we cling into. Whatever I recognize you, things, the things I learned and practiced, those all kind of things. And then when I die by clinging to this, my perception, sanya, my recognitions, and it's moving to next life. And then the sankhara, volitions, karma. Karma is take the main part of the next birth. Because sankhara pacchaya vijnana. The sankhara is a volitions, karma, and give new birth to a consciousness. Then that consciousness give birth to a form, and then the names. Sankhara pacchaya vijnana, vijnana pacchaya nama rupa. and then the consciousness, and also these all aggregates suddenly arising, living and dying, arising, living and dying. It's a continuation, not only single thing, one thing. It's a continuation of birth and dying, and it's continue. That's how consciousness is moving. What do you think?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's all thought. When we meditate, thoughts come up and thoughts go away. So these are what we might call mind things we have. They're just things like anything, and they come and go. The question becomes, where do they come from? Well, consciousness.
Yeah. Consciousness arise. Consciousness arise because of something have to arise. Consciousness. When our eyes open, then I take the forms. Then when I meet the form. When I meet the form, then consciousness arise. Consciousness is the beginning part, and it's arising right away. It's dying, but all other aggregates come to activate with it. When I take the form, then if you have a sanya, perception, recognition, or you're gonna, this is him, this is she, or this is what I like or not, whatever, recognition all come with it. Then feeling arise. When you see feeling, then you have you love it, then some kind of happy feeling arise. If you're not happy about that, then the unpleasant feeling arise. With that form, when the eye opened, then the eye took the form in process. Then it's all three together called consciousness. With consciousness contact. In Buddhism, explain eye forms meet, and then the eye consciousness arise. And these three, what? These three, eye, form, eye consciousness. These three called contact. Contact. When we have a contact, then feeling, then perception, and then volitions, produce thoughts, volitions, right? That's how it is happening. Consciousness is like a magician. It's like appear and disappear, appear and disappear. But many things keep processing. If, for example, when you see someone, you love it, then your happy feeling arise. Right away you see someone, your enemy, you not like, then different feelings. Anger arise. Another form of feelings going with the anger. You see. Consciousness is the first base, even when you have a sound, ear consciousness. And then with ear consciousness, all feeling, perception, volitions all activate, and consciousness arise again and again with that process. They are quickly arise and quickly disappearing. It's related to each other, like a chain. And then when we have odors, taste, touches, even something come to mind, and these all feeling, perception, volitions all activate. What do you think, Kilaya? Sounds good.
I mean,
What's the brain then?
Very difficult. This is very difficult to talk about.
Yeah, this is very, very difficult topic.
You have to Otherwise, it's just words.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of beyond of our. Actually, we experience in these things. So we experience these things. It's happening within us. I think when we meditate, we can understand clearly when we're going through to deep concentration, because mind is getting still, no thoughts bothering, all five hindrances is subdued. Awareness, arising awareness, clear understanding, and also become kammaniya, active, mudu, soft, and then vigutu pakilese, there are no dust around, and anangani is not defilements, paryodati, bright, parishuddhe, pure, that type of mind, and can have a clear understanding about this process, I think. It's come to the meditation, have to develop meditation practice to that.
I think one of the most difficult things to understand is the role that samkhara plays, right? Because samkhara is the cause and condition for consciousness, right?
Yeah.
But the function and how that works is very difficult to understand, right? How samkhara constructs the condition, right? This is a difficult thing to see and to understand how this happens before consciousness. Because that's the condition, the nutriment for consciousness is sankhara, right?
Sankhara give rise birth to a consciousness.
Right.
Then you think how it is happening or something?
It's very difficult to understand how sankhara gives rise to consciousness. It's a difficult thing to see and to know.
I think consciousness is nothing wrong with it. It's arise when we see, hear anything. Even Buddha see the form and recognize people, and he hears sounds and he tastes things, but he don't produce sankhara. That's different. Sankhara is always related with greed, hate, and ignorance. Yeah. Sankhara, volitions, thoughts, volitions, thoughts related with greed, hate, and ignorance. That's called sankhara. Then the Buddha also hears, see things, but he didn't produce thoughts. He had a sankhara, consciousness arise, because he's still alive. But he don't produce sankhara, karma, called karma, with ignorance, with hate, or with craving. His mind free from it. Then what does he see? For the things, he's just a scene. Ditte dittamatam. Whatever he sees is just a scene. He doesn't produce the sankhara. He produces sankhara, but not related what is give rise to birth, a new consciousness after death. That when he hear and he recognize sound and he has feelings, but he usually doesn't produce karma with relating with greed, hate, and ignorance. His mind is free from it. Whatever sounds is just a sound, and he have it. He don't produce new generation. He not generate karma.
But he has consciousness. Right?
He has consciousness. Then he live until he live.
But when a cause and condition disappears, then what is dependent on that cause and condition also disappears. So if consciousness is dependent upon sankhara, and you're saying sankhara disappears, then consciousness would disappear also.
Yes. Avijja, the sankhara nirodha, vijnana nirodho. When cease the sankhara, then consciousness cease.
So the Buddha has
consciousness, but he don't have a sankhara.
But isn't that impossible? Because consciousness needs sankhara.
No needed.
It's dependent.
No.
So it's dependent origination. That's what that means. Dependence.
Yes, sankhara give rise to a consciousness. Consciousness not give rise to a the sankhara in this case, because the sankhara always talking relation with volitions, thoughts related with greed, lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hate, and ignorance. Sankhara, that's what it means. Sankhara is related with greed, hate, ignorance. Don't forget this.
Yep.
Sankhara means related with greed, hate, and ignorance. Even the feeling we have, whatever feeling I had yesterday, if I have a greed about it, then I produce new sankhara. Whatever sanya concept, perceptions I had about something, then this whole sanya come to my mind, then I produce sankhara. So, whatever the forms I have seen, this come to my mind, they produce sankhara. But for the Buddha and the Arahants, and they have a sixth sense basis, it's very clear, I think. They have a sense basis, they feel it. What's the thoughts? Their thoughts in Abhidhamma explaining akiriya, deactivate, non-activation. Their thoughts called akiriya. Akiriya means no action, no results. They see and they produce thoughts, but called akiriya chitta. Their minds, their thoughts, their consciousness are all deactivate. There are no produce energy or produce new karma, because whatever they see, hear, taste, and they just feel it. That's all. They're not producing any thoughts relating with three roots of unwholesome activities called lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hate, and ignorance. And they are conscious when they die and they cease. This Buddha and the Arahants, when they die, they cease because they not producing new consciousness, new sankhara to give rise to a new consciousness. Because avidya yatveva asesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho. When the ignorance cease, sankhara cease.
Is there an opposite of
Opposite
sankhara?
sankhara. Sankhara, these two types of sankhara called wholesome sankhara, kusala sankhara, good activities, good karma, and unwholesome sankhara, akusala sankhara, unwholesome sankhara. Both give rise to new consciousness. Wholesome karma give rise to a good places, the birth in good places. The unwholesome sankhara give birth to a bad places. Johnny, what do you think?
Thank you. That's-
Yeah, any idea?
no ideas.
Anyone on online? So, that's the biggest problem, Rafaela. The biggest problem is in our life existence is clinging to these aggregates. There are 5 of them. Form. It's not a single thing, it's a heap of elements, of physical elements. Hair, teeth, skin, muscles, bones. And not only that, also the water elements in the body, blood, and then the watery things in the body. And then the air that we breathe, is another element, physical one. It is physical one. And also the heat keep body warm, and then cool. It's another element. This our physical body is with these four elements. Is produced by these elements. This body produced by these elements. As in Buddhism, is going to understand about these elements as impermanent, temporary. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Sim-
Because like you said, the mind isn't connected to the brain.
Mm.
So that's not a physical thing.
Mm.
And like you say, of something non-physical trying to cling to the physical. So
Yes, as human, as sentient beings, there are two of them, called Nama Rupa, form and names. This physical body is the form, and there are names, 5 of them. According to the Abhidhamma explanation, is even in the suttas as explained, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. These are the 5 names. Vedana, feeling, is not a physical thing. Feeling is a mental thing. Sanya, perception, is the mental factor. And then the Passa, Vedana, Sanya, perception, contact and feeling and perception and volitions, thoughts, and then the life faculty of that, and also the attention. These 5 called names. Nama Rupa, names and forms. Then why these 5 aggregates is very important is we move in life to life. These 5 aggregates move in life to life, but getting different shapes according to where we will born.
are we rising like through each rebirth? Are we rising or?
It depends. Yeah, we can develop these. We can born in different places according to our karma. If you act good way, that's your good qualities, spiritual good kindness, compassion, generosity, practicing. That good kind of consciousness, karma, and give rise to according to that your mental state. So then in Buddhism, why this is 5 aggregates is very important, because these are the aggregates we are clinging to as I and mine and myself. We attach to these aggregates. Then we die. We are thinking the body as I and mine. And then feelings I had, and even I have a feeling I having right now in this dead moment. Even the perception I have about my family, I loved ones, and hate the people I hate, and still have perception. And volitions are still producing a karma, maybe related with greed, hate, and ignorance, even in the death moment, last moment, and producing new karmas. And the consciousness arises with this each aggregates. Then we die. That clinging to them as I, mine, and then taking to somewhere to give another new birth. Right? Why Buddha doesn't have that becoming, and Arahants doesn't have becoming, because they don't think this any aggregates as I and mine, and they understand impermanent of these things arising and passing. There are no self, entity, any of these things. And they freed their mind with attached to these aggregates. Then they cease like a lamp ceasing. If someone thinks the birth is okay, they have to have birth or maybe experience these things, that means ignorance and then the craving. Ignorance and craving. But unfortunately, if someone have, unfortunately, Buddha cannot help us with this to free it by ourselves, but he guided. So then we have to practice. Right, Michael? Because because we create ourselves, we create our destiny, we decide, we create, we think, we act, we speak, we do everything. We do everything. We cannot depend on anyone else. Then you walk, you act, you speak, you eat, you drink, you die, you sleep, you waking up and you die. Then nobody can be with you. So then it's my responsibility, your responsibility. Understand who I am, why I am, what I am. It's called insight. In Buddhism, it's called insight, vipassana. Vipassana is something to practice and develop. When we have that vipassana and understanding, then we don't have to stress what happened to my physical body. When I grow old and getting gray hair or losing my teeth and skin become wrinkled, and even I getting sick, terribly sick. But the person who has meditated and understanding of this, because this is impermanent, temporary, subject to ill, sick, and then the subject to change. Whatever happened, they not become worry and sad and stress. They free from stress. Then who is free from stress and that insecurity, uncertainty, free from fear, and I think they are already in heaven. They are already in heaven. Right? There are nothing heaven like that. Whereas the heaven is giving you a birth, become you ill and sick, growing old and dying, wherever, then this is not the place for you to live, because you're growing old and getting sick and dying, right? Still craving happening, still craving occurring, hateful thoughts occurring and happening, ignorance is still activate, and then with those all things, there are nothing heaven to be secure. In Buddhism, we have heavens, I have explained, but temporary, like human life. Temporary. There are no permanent. In Buddhism, there are anything permanent. Louis, Nilmatya. Any topic, or do we have to discuss, or we continue? It's very cold. Again, yeah, like winter. Yeah. That's the time. We get to end up the session. Oh, let me. If you don't have anything to discuss, any doubt, any doubt about anything, we can talk. Rafael, you have to have a lot of doubt and questions.
I do have a question. It's because I was reading one of the books,
Mm.
and it says that this life is our one and only precious life.
Mm.
I read like that
Mm.
this life is our one and only precious life.
Mm.
But then you're saying like there's a rebirth cycle,
Mm.
so I don't really understand. Like that seems like opposite.
We have only one life and this life, and then the question is how big.
She says she read in a book that we have, this is our own one and only precious life.
Ah.
And so how does that work if we have reincarnating? That means that those two don't agree.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's
Maybe
true.
it's because you're saying in this identity you have this
Yeah.
one precious life when you're this identity.
Yeah.
Basically saying that the next life you're going to be someone else.
Yeah.
So this is your only life
Yeah.
that you're going to be this identity.
You read that book. What's that name of the book?
I think it's
Yeah, but I got you under. I got the meaning. That means that books explain we have only one life, and only one life, and then the after death, and there's nothing exists anything. Yeah, yes, that's right. There's one of view, one of understanding. There's nothing wrong with it. And some people think there are something never die, and exist forever, eternally exist. That's another view, right? Another view. It exists eternally after death and born in heaven or hell and live forever. That's another view, right?
yeah.
Yes. In Buddhism explaining there are two views. Someone says there are nothing after death. It's finished as a one view. As extreme view. It's not It's not true with facts. And then the other one, eternally existence. And it is also cannot prove with facts. What we experience is temporary. Nothingness or existence depends in the middle. In Buddhism called middle path. Existence, if we exist again and again, there are conditions for it. We exist because we have conditions, we have cravings, hate, ignorance, and we grasp things as I, mine, and we do good things, bad things, then it's have results. That conditions and keep continuation of existence. When someone cut off this craving, ignorance, hate, and he don't produce karma, then he exists until he alive a lifespan as far as he can survive. He can keep body active. It's impermanent, not supposed to be forever, and then it's they die. Once Buddha said, this is very important, Buddha said, becoming monks, I say becoming happens who has those upadana, clinging. Who has clinging, they have becoming. And who, Buddha says, I say who doesn't have clinging, and they don't become. And then the becoming depends on clinging. Not becoming also depends because of non-clinging. Then there are no extreme end. There are nothing exists anything, or everything exists forever. In Buddhism says dependent origination. Paticca samuppada, dependent origination. Everything exists because of cause, reasons. Even this world is formed as a suitable earth to live because the conditions. In the sun we can't live there because of too heat. Even in the first planets close to the sun also not possible to live because of too heat, and it's different conditions give different things. Yeah, everything depends on conditions. That's what is Buddhism called Paticcasamuppada, dependent origination. You can believe anything, but the reality is kind of something different. Okay, I think we should end up the session if you don't have any questions. Okay.
Igor, I have a question.
Okay. Igor, yeah. Oh, after a long time later, okay, go ahead.
And I would like to ask you, feeling guilty. Oh, people say, I feel guilty. How this emotion, feeling, is generated? Could you explain path, how it's generated, and what to do with it? How to work with this feeling or emotion?
Guiltyful feelings. About guilty feelings.
Yeah, is it emotion or feeling or both of them? And how to work with this emotion?
Yeah, that's a good question. Buddhism explaining and recommend to one thing for it, that's called ayati sangvara. Ayati sangvara in Pali. That means if I have something guilty about me, whatever I have done, I cannot fix it anymore. I cannot recorrect it because I already done. The guilty feelings having we have done, right? We cannot fix it. It's happened, it's gone. And then Buddhism explaining to become ayati sangvara, and you have to confirm yourself not to do that again. If it is the wrong thing, guilty means wrong, right? If I have a wrong thing, guilty about things, I've come myself to permanent decision, a kind of strong decision not to do that things again. Because I cannot fix it. If I kill someone, if I blame someone, maybe I can ask forgiveness. Keep them support. Sharing kindness, compassion. That's what we can do. But you cannot regret. In Buddhism, regretting is another unwholesome activity, a karma. You killed once, but your whole life you keep producing it again and again and again, being regret about it. Even if you did good things, and Buddha recommend that, if you did good, you should keep thinking about it. That's good. Good things we could cultivate. But as a people like us, but who is the arahants, and they doesn't matter whatever they good or bad, and they not clinging to them. But the people, if we have done something wrong, if I have any guilt feeling about it, and then I come to confirm myself, I did something because of my greed or hate or ignorance, but I did a mistake, I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to fix it, my future. Do good. Instead, do good. What's make me happy about it, not guilty. Right, Igor?
It's karma. Okay, you need to change your behavior. But what about, is it possible to change perception? Okay, it's done. It's a past. We cannot change it. But changing perception, maybe we can get rid of this. To think about what happened in different way. Because perception generates emotion.
Perception.
Yeah, my understanding. Perception. You have something and content in your head, whatever in your brain, and what is happening comparing with your conception. And if there is no much anger, whatever, like you're driving car, somebody car, you didn't expect this, and you become angry. You can control it, whatever. But with guilty, live with this all the time and don't do it again. But anyway, you cannot erase it. But maybe changing perception, you can feel better.
Yeah. Then what we can have the good understanding about this. The problem is not what is happening. The problem is the problem is greed, hate, and ignorance. That's what I can see. Whatever we experience in our life, the problem is the craving called tanha, lobha, greed, desire. Problem is that, and then the hate, dislike, non-like, hate. Problem is the hate, not the what is happening. Then the hateful things arise when through the mind. That's the problem. So then and then the ignorance, the concept, ideas we have about it. Wrong ideas or maybe right ideas, wrong views or right views, whatever concept, perceptions we have about those kind of things. Because mostly what is related with greed, hate and ignorance, that's the related with ignorance. What is related with greed, hate and it is definitely unwholesome and related with ignorance. So whatever is arise, any kind of thoughts arise without greed, without hate, without ignorance, and that's called right view. Yeah. I was thinking to talk about today about the Eight Noble Path and then the right understanding and two different understanding of, maybe we can talk later, next week. Buddha explained the two different right understanding. Sammaditthi, two different sammadittis, and we can learn next week. Okay, I think that's enough for today, and let's share the merits with departed ones and with ghosts, with deities, and with all sentient beings. May they all share these merits, and may they have happy good destination. Blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And the blessings and good karma, learning Dhamma, discussing Dhamma, and meditating that we accumulated. And those all good merits and blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha keep you happy, healthy, and safe. And then we able to develop this understanding and practice and able to have a right view. And able to liberate. Akasattha Chibummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Sasanang Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Chirang Rakhantu Mang Parang Sabbhitiyo Vivajjantu Sabbarogo Vinassatu Mate bhavatvantarāyo sukhi dīgāyuko bhava. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata. Sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you for joining and see you.
Thank you,
Well,
Bhante.
thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
Bhante.
I was wondering if you could do the bracelet thing, the blessing.
You on that now?
Yeah, I think I should.
Okay.
But I'm gonna use the bathroom. My stomach has been hurting me.